YouTube's Conspiracy Theory Crisis. That reads the title from Vox. Now, from my personal perspective, I do not agree with Vox on a political level, but I still read it because it is important if you are interested in politics, if you are interested in knowing what's going on, to read from as many sources as possible across the political spectrum, not just the ones you like, not just the ones you agree with. But anyway, they do touch on an important point and a pretty crucial perspective that a lot of people have in this day and age. The 3.5-hour hearing with Google CEO Sundar Pichai and the House Judiciary Committee wasn't exactly a showcase of deep knowledge of technology. One Republican representative complained that all of Google's results for Obamacare Repeal Act and the Republican tax bill were negative. Rep. Steve King had to be told that Google does not make the iPhone. Rep. Louis Gohmert demanded that Google be held liable for Wikipedia's political bias. But one lawmaker, Jamie Raskin, raised an actually important and pressing issue: the way YouTube's algorithms can be used to push conspiracy theories. The point at which it becomes a serious public interest is when your communication vehicle is being used to promote propaganda that leads to violent events. He was alluding to the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which led to an armed gunman showing up at the DC area pizzeria, a conspiracy theory spread in part on YouTube. Raskin asked about another specifically strange conspiracy theory that emerged on YouTube, Frazzle Drip, which has deep ties to QAnon and Pizzagate conspiracy theories. He asked Pichai, is your basic position that this is something you want to try to do something about? Basically, there's just an avalanche of such material and there's really nothing that can be done. It should be buyer beware, consumer beware when you go to YouTube. Are you taking these threats seriously? Raskin's question was getting to an important issue. YouTube, which Google purchased for $1.6 billion 12 years ago, has a conspiracy theory problem. It's baked in the way the service works, and appears that neither Congress nor YouTube itself is anywhere near solving it. 1 billion hours worth of content is viewed on YouTube every day. About 70% of those views come from YouTube's recommendations, according to Algo Transparency, a website that attempts to track what videos YouTube's recommendation algorithm most often recommends. YouTube's content algorithms are incredibly powerful. They determine what videos show up in your search results, the suggested video stream, or on the homepage, the trending stream, and under your subscription. If you go to the YouTube homepage, algorithms dictate which videos you see and which ones you don't. And if you search for something, it's an algorithm that decides which videos you get first. But YouTube's algorithms have an extremism problem. As an associate professor of the School of Information and Library Science at the University of North Carolina wrote in the New York Times in March, the YouTube advertising model is based on you watching as many videos as they can show you, and the ads that appear before and during those videos. Whether a subject of the original video is selected right-leaning or left-leaning or even non-political, the algorithm tends to recommend increasingly more extreme videos, escalating the viewer from videos of Trump rallies to videos featuring white supremacist rants. Watching videos of Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, led to videos featuring arguments about the existence of secret government agencies and allegation that the US government was behind 9/11. An Algo Transparency website, which tries to reverse engineering YouTube's recommendation algorithms, enter two terms to find out what the algorithm will recommend for a user with no search history based on the terms. First up was Trump. You can try this yourself. The first recommended video was from MSNBC, detailing James Comey testimony before the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees. The second recommendation video was a QAnon-themed video related to conspiracy theory alleging President Trump and Robert Mueller are working together to uncover a vast pedophile network, including many prominent Democrats. Next, I tried Hillary Clinton. Top 3 recommended videos based on YouTube's algorithm are all conspiracy theory driven, from a video from an anti-Semitic YouTube channel that argues Freemasons will escape from the United States on private yachts after America's eventual collapse, to user alleging Hillary Clinton has a seizure disorder, to one alleging that Hillary Clinton has had a number of people murdered. Now, this article is fairly detailed and does get to a fairly good point, but I also think it misses a certain perspective. Let's say it like that. In that it's clearly written by someone who isn't a YouTuber. Because he does have a lot of information, but there's a certain understanding of how the site works if you haven't actually used it, as someone like myself who has used it for years. And this is something I do want to talk about because it is one of the main problems quite a lot of YouTubers have on the site, namely extremism rules. And it's not just, oh, political extremism. No, it's extremism across the board. It's catchy title, it's flashy phrases, it's getting attention in any way possible, because that's ultimately what you want on YouTube. If you make a boring video, or if you make a video with a boring title about a regular subject, you're not going to get a lot of attention on the site. But if you go for something catchy, if you go for something flashy, you will gain attention. And that is what drives a lot of traffic on YouTube. Though YouTube has recently been cracking down with demonetization across the board on anything remotely controversial, that has hurt everyone across the board, not just people going for extremist content. It's hurt people across the board because even something with a boring title, or just a regular subject or a regular point of view, still can get and does get demonetized. It's one of the main problems I personally have as a YouTuber when trying to talk about politics in a, shall we say, sensical way. Because you can't even talk about certain events regardless of the way you're talking about without getting demonetized. But the issue still stands. A flashy title, an extremist title, a push for radical position is what's going to get you attention. It's what's going to get people to view it. That doesn't mean you're going to get a bunch of people that agree with you, but that doesn't matter. That's also probably one of the biggest problems on YouTube. If you make a controversial video and you got a lot of people that hate your guts over it, they will comment on it. Getting dislikes on YouTube is not a bad thing. Getting a lot of comments, even negative ones, is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The problem with the YouTube algorithm is that it rewards all of this. It rewards having a deeply controversial negative opinion. Because if you can piss off a lot of people with your videos, then that is good for you as a YouTuber. It's extremely positive for you as a YouTuber. I mean, I can't say how, I can't stress this enough, but there are videos that I've done on my channel which I knew would get a lot of hate on them. I still did them because I had a significant incentive to it. At the end of the day, earning a living on YouTube is not an easy thing for anyone, especially people living in Western countries. I struggle on a monthly basis to just pay basic bills. I've been doing this for certain years, for a certain period of time. Other people live in Western countries where it's significantly more expensive, and you do want a way to succeed. You don't want to be stuck in mediocrity for your entire career. I don't know how long this will last. No one knows how long this will last, how long this will keep going. So it's go big or go home. That's the incentive. And having deeply controversial opinions, spewing nonsense, is what's going to get you views, and as a result of that, money. That's how InfoWars got as big as it did. That's how important as it did. I mean, I've never cared much for Alex Jones. He was all over the top. But before he got banned, that's certainly what led to a significant part of his success on the site. That was it. That over-the-top nonsense. Sure, a lot of people thought he was a clown, but he made a truckload of money through that. A truckload of support as well. Not a lot of support through that. If you can be loud and obnoxious, if you can be overwhelmingly negative, then that's not a minus on the site. It's a positive. And what a fucked up world we live in when that's how search algorithms work. Now, I'm not saying the alternative is any better. I don't think YouTube can be policed effectively, because you don't just shut down the extremists, you also shut down a bunch of people that are trying to, either talk about the subject, which isn't allowed in most cases these days on YouTube without getting demonetized, or you will just not get enough feedback from people. If you're just laying down the facts of something that's coming up, you need to be in some way interesting. You need to get people's attention in some way. And what an easy way it is to just spew a bunch of nonsense, isn't it? Well, uninformed nonsense, incorrect nonsense. It doesn't matter if it's incorrect. Hell, it's even better if it's incorrect. That is certainly a problem. It's also it's not something, it's a right-wing or a left-wing perspective. Sure, people are using the situation to argue for things in their particular favor politically, one way or another. That's ultimately what drives that, and that is going to have very negative implications about all of this, that and other things that are going on YouTube. But that I feel is kind of missing the point. I think the bigger point is with YouTube, with Google, with social media in general, anything that can get you attention is a net positive. It doesn't matter how you do it. And if you can be overwhelmingly negative, or if you can spew a bunch of crap, then you should do so. It will work in your favor. Now, you might not want to do so for various and clear reasons. You might not want to embrace those kind of tactics, but it is certainly a thing that does work on the site, and one that will be to your own benefit as a content creator on the site. Or companies use the term influencer these days. Think on that. They use the term influencer because we influence people. I mean, that's also a big problem here, because so much of the business here for the big YouTubers, for the people really earning a lot of money, is not driven, so much of it is driven by, oh, what's the best way I can get a lot of attention? What things can I say that will get feedback? As opposed to what is the truth, what matters, what are the facts, and how can I present people, how can I inform people effectively? That matters far less on YouTube than it should. That should possibly be a solution to the current problem. And I'm not just talking here like a political issue, I'm just talking here about how content is produced and consumed on the site, which I view in an extremely negative way. Now, of course, Vox is saying all of this because they do have a desire, I guess, of censorship on the site, or as do many people across the political spectrum. They do want to control this. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea, at least not in the way they're portraying it. I think the internet got to the point that it has, especially social media, because of a lack of control, because of a lack of policing. I think that policing in general, at least for people outside of these companies, has generally had far more negative impact than it has had a positive one, because it hasn't solved any of these issues. All the attempts that have been made, all the government attempts, YouTube attempts, haven't really worked. All the things that people are suggesting that YouTube do haven't really had a positive impact, nor have they solved the issue. It's just entrenched people even further in these kind of views, or in extremism, or in catchy and flashy titles. Anyway, this is all I had to say on this subject. If you do like my content, please do consider supporting me by PayPal, Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for more.